Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, I know it's a nice day. Okay. Yep. All right, slow down just a second. Okay. All right. We're going to get the whole Niagara Health Systems thing sorted out for you today, okay? All right, just watch the show. All right, hang on. Hey guys, welcome into season 5, episode, I think we're 24? Is that 24? Yeah. Of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. That would be me. We are fueled by Gales Gas Bars, supported as usual by Sandra's Home Healthcare. A lot more about that in a little while. Verge Insurance Group, Ace Alignment, Equal Wellness Services, and we are just excited as all get out to welcome a brand new sponsor to the program today, Mac Outpost, your Apple Everything location here in St. Catharines. We'll be talking more about that today as well. Kevin Jack of WeeStreem is behind the camera showing you these bodacious and beautiful and tasty specialities here at the wonderful Fiddler's Poorhouse in downtown St. Catharines at 149 St. Paul Street, where we are blessed to be able to bring you this program every couple of weeks or so here on Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. Now, as I mentioned to my staffer there at the beginning of the show, the big story that we all woke up to today, and it really does affect all of Niagara, is the fact that there appeared to be a systems update glitch or problem, etc., with the Niagara Health Systems, and we're going to address that at about 12:30 today. We have the CEO of Niagara Health Systems coming on, and they're working hard on it. We just want to make sure that we give everybody the proper perspective on exactly what's happening with that story, because that's probably the number one story to be rolling around Niagara today. So we're going to get all of those questions answered, all of that stuff sorted out for you, and a bunch of other things coming up on the program today, along with Sandra of Sandra's Home Healthcare. One of our sponsors is going to be joining us at about 1 o'clock. So we got a lot of things to do. Hope you can stay with us a while on this nice, bright, sunny Wednesday, November the 13th. We'll be right back. And here we are, as I promised, right back, or as I threatened you with, depending on your perspective. And it is November the 13th already. Been raking leaves and trimming trees and doing things to get ready for the onslaught of winter, but we've still had not a bad stretch of weather. We've had an interesting couple of weeks, including a massive change in the U.S. governmental situation, which will no doubt impact us at some point down the road. But, we woke up on November the 6th to a whole different world. And all I can say is we'll see what the next 4 years bring. It'll be interesting, for sure. Okay, let's start off with what I mentioned at the beginning of the program. Niagara Health Service had what we are referring to as a software rollout issue. Now, I know that sounds like corporate speak, but that's really what it is. There is, or was, a plan to update an awful lot of the software systems, like data and all kinds of things, in the Niagara Health System. Well, oftentimes these things come with their own challenges, and that's what's happened over the last little while. And you see all kinds of comments and opinions and all sorts of things, and sometimes these stories can spiral out of control. So we reached out to Niagara Health Services, and coming on at 12:30 today to walk through what's exactly going on, has gone on, and will be going on, and an update and all those other things, is the CEO of the Niagara Health Systems, Lynn Guerriero. She's going to be joining us, as well as Simon Akinsuli. He is the VP of Practice, Clinical Support, Chief Nursing Executive, etc. So we've got a couple of perspectives. CEO Guerriero is going to be joining us to make a statement, and then Simon's going to give us a little bit more of a detail. And again, what we are urging everybody to be is just a little bit patient and kind to the practitioners, because the folks that you see on a daily basis or an hourly basis at Niagara Health Systems aren't the ones responsible if you've got a bit of an extra wait time or et cetera. Anyway, I'm not going to go any deeper into it because I'm not the expert. So we're going to bring the CEO in, as well as Simon, VP of Practice Clinical Services, Chief Nursing Executive, at about 12:30 this afternoon. All right, so that's the key to what's going on here. Now, in a coincidentally related issue is for the first time in a while, we've been trying to get this done with Sandra D'Alessandro Sandra, for a while. She is the CEO of Sandra's Home Healthcare, proudly accepted here as one of our sponsors of the program. And regulations and accreditations have changed significantly over the last while in the home health care world. And we've been trying to get somebody from Health Ontario on, et cetera, and things being what they are these days, schedules being what they are, workloads being what they are, it's not always that easy to get all the puzzle parts together at the same time. So, but we didn't want to wait any longer to do this show. Sandra's on the road today, by the way, on another interesting mission in her world. But she's going to be calling us and checking in here at about 1 o'clock, and we are going to be talking about home health care from their perspective, what they do, what they are. But as well, it's going to be a great information session for you because of these regulation and accreditation changes. It impacts everybody in Niagara that has any need for some sort of home health care or care for their loved ones. So hang in there and join us about 1 o'clock for Sandra to come on the program today. Also, we've got a lot of things going on around Niagara as far as projects and stuff.
Yeah, Lee, let me interject here, though. Sorry, it's Kevin here. I just want to make sure that we cross the T's and dot the I's here.
Yeah, sorry. I saw you on the screen there, and I wanted to introduce you again to our crew here, but I was remiss.
Well, don't worry. I'll get the show back to you, but first I want to encourage people, if you...
I don't want to fight with you.
You're watching on Niagara 411 Live right now, and you know we're live because there you see, right around the logo at the top. If you don't see that, you refresh. Mm-hmm. Okay, scroll down to where you see our show right there. Okay.
Yep.
Hit that share button and share now.
Okay, that finally I got my screen. So I'm going to do that myself. So we go down. We got Niagara 411. We're watching. There's the show. So we hit share, and then we hit share now, and bada bing. There we are. Now, if you would do that, we would very much appreciate it, because as we do remind you from time to time, this was a show whose genesis came from the concept of in Niagara, by Niagarans, for Niagarans, and that is indeed our focus. There are a lot of different places you can get information and research and all that other stuff about things outside Niagara and around the world, and why would we bother to do that when you can go all kinds of other places to do that? But we're the only place that does this for you here in Niagara. And we were chatting with Kevin a minute ago, and Kevin, I wanted to throw a feather in the cap of your company. WeeStreem, by the way, is Canada's premier streaming service, and they do much more than just this program every couple of weeks. We're just kind of an afterthought. I'm not that important. But a lot of the stuff that they do is, i.e. the Remembrance Day ceremonies that were streamed in Niagara Falls and Port Colborne, and there's just a bit of a shot of it there. Kevin, I was watching your work that morning, you and your company, and you guys did a great job of recognizing our veterans and military people.
And to give you an idea of the strength of live streaming, and of course the strength of social media, here I was at Niagara Falls at Fairview Cemetery, and that's what you're looking at right there on the screen.
Yeah.
And if you see the bottom right, 24,000 views. And estimates from the city were about 1,000 people were there in attendance.
In person.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
It's always a moving ceremony down at Fairview Ceremony. They do a terrific job in Niagara Falls. But the streaming component of it, 24,000 people were now able to participate in a Remembrance Day ceremony, some live, some after the fact,
and,
just because we made it available through social media. And I think that's pretty powerful.
It is powerful. And my wife and I were two of those people because we were at home, and we never miss, unless something extremely crazy happens, we never miss our moment of silence and our recognition of our veterans. My wife had family in the wars. My father was served during World War II, and we never miss some way to recognize those people that served, and the people that are serving today in the military as well, by the way. And so we were two of those 24K that watched the broadcast. You guys did a great job, and thank you for helping us remember.
And as you can see, it was extremely windy down in Niagara Falls.
Yep.
I'm assuming, Brandon was in Port Colborne. We also streamed the Remembrance Day ceremony for Port Colborne.
Right.
And thousands of people, again, were able to participate virtually. And it was windy down there. So windy no matter where you were. And our wreaths were getting blown over as everybody laid the wreaths. But you know what? Given the fact that we've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years, I've been there in sub-zero temperatures. We've had sideways rain. So if all we had to deal with this year was a little balmy 14 degrees and some wind, I can deal with it.
I remember a few years I used to do a live radio presentation of the Remembrance Day services from the St. Catharines Cenotaph here, and boy, there were some pretty nasty weather conditions that people had to put up with. But kudos to those people that do show up. And this is the power of streaming technology, as sophisticated as WeeStream does it. That ironically, there are still many people that don't quite get how powerful that can be. And when you go from an event that may be ill-attended because of poor weather or whatever reason, or you just don't have that many people that can show up in person, like you take 1,000, you multiply it 24 times, and that's where your event, or more than that, that's what your event can do. So if you have any event or any issue or anything that you think, we'd like more people to attend this than usually do, give these guys a call.
Yeah, there goes little Reese Patterson doing the national anthem. She also did an amazing job of Amazing Grace.
Yeah, she did.
So great job. There you go.
We see
I guess we
thee
should
rise, the true north, strong and free.
Yeah, nice job. Good job, Kev. Okay, other local things that are going on. Just a list of stories that jumped out at us this week from Niagara 411 and elsewhere. By the way, hi Nick at Niagara 411, and hello to all the contributors of that Facebook site, and Nick's mom, thank you. Before we go, just a little aside. Understandably so, there is occasionally some confusion that we run across in that we here at Niagara 411 Live with Sterry are occasionally credited with being the driving force behind the Facebook news and information site Niagara 411. Well, that is not the case. That's Nick. We are two separate entities, yet we do share things like these streams as well as content from those of you that contribute, and we thank you for doing that. But the Niagara 411 brand itself is Nick. We are strictly the live version of that brand every couple of weeks here, and it's just Kevin and I. We are it's him, me, and I, as they say, for Niagara 411 Live with Sterry, and we thank you for your support. Kevin, the issues that we were going to, or events or stories that we were going to check in on, some of them are important to Niagara that have been lingering around for a while, i.e. the St. Paul Bridge is finally going to be coming down to be improved as part of the GO Transit Systems Enhancement project. And of course, something has to go down before something goes up. So it's called the GO Precinct Development Project. And they're finally going to get her done, as they say. It'll make a new way for the new bridge and upgrades to the St. Catharines train station and transit hub. And also of note, the pedestrian walkway will be closed during this period of time.
Yeah,
All
so there
right?
you go. So they're rerouting you through Chetwood Street.
Yeah.
And, of course, the dates, it says 18th to 20th, but, of course, that's going to be next Monday to Wednesday.
Correct. Monday to Wednesday of next.
So we're finally getting some movement on that bridge.
It's been a while, hasn't it? There were. Where do you want to go next, Kevin, with some of these things that we had a list of stuff?
Well,
that
we go to this one this morning. It's kind of weird because it was a serious head-on collision, but it looks like it's right around Harriet Tubman School where people shouldn't be going that fast.
No, just a kind of a stone's throw from where we're sitting right now in downtown St. Catharines. And our condolences and sympathies go to the people that were seriously injured in that crash at Henry and Beach Street. Now, judging by some of the comments that I was reading this morning, it was, at one point in time, this intersection was a two-way stop. And it has recently been changed to a four-way stop. And there were those people that live in the area that were commenting, saying that, oh man, when it was only a two-way stop, there were all kinds of screeching of brakes and sounds of crashes. Apparently a troubling intersection in that area for quite some time.
So you can see, Lee, that this
Yeah.
Google Maps was taken when it was a two-way.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no stop sign there on Beach.
Not on Beach. So
It's
you
on
can
Henry.
you can understand there being an issue there, and if someone is used to traveling that area when it was a two-way, perhaps it was, since it's been changed to a four-way, perhaps there are those that don't realize that and think of Beach as still a through street. So I don't know whether that's what contributed to this accident or not, but that's a fairly serious accident to have in what should be a low-speed area, because in St. Catharines, now, I don't even remember that we talked about this a number of weeks ago. It is now a city bylaw that the maximum speed limit on any of our streets in a downtown area is 40 kilometers an hour. Now, I know you can do a lot of damage at 40 kilometers an hour, no question, because it's faster than you might think when you've got cars traveling on highways at 120, 130 kilometers an hour. 40 doesn't sound like much, but in a downtown area, it can do a lot of damage. But nevertheless, I'm not sure how big a factor speed was in this particular area. But just to notice that 40 kilometers an hour is the maximum speed limit in all of St. Catharines City streets unless otherwise posted. And there's the Harriet Tubman Public School. This was actually my supervisor who was hit, says Brad. Someone blew the stop sign. Okay. So I guess it was similar to what I was talking about.
Yeah, so exactly what you were saying is maybe somebody hadn't been by in a while and
Hadn't realized it was now a four-way stop and just went blasting through.
so I don't know if is she
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, she's the supervisor at Tubman.
Oh,
I think it was
Okay.
this Jessica Spalding.
okay.
And sorry, hoping I'm not speaking out of turn. I mean, all this stuff is available to the public.
Yeah, I just lost my monitor, Kev, by the
okay.
way, just so you
Do
know.
that? Yep. Yeah, but there you go. I mean, exactly what you're saying is it used to be a two-way, now it's a four-way. Somebody blew the stop, and unfortunately, we got a supervisor from Tubman.
And you know, there's another area in Niagara that I encounter quite often because my wife and I drive around to Niagara, St. Catharines, Niagara on the Lake, etc. And Kevin, I don't know if you've experienced this or not, but when you get into the heart of the subdivision, the residential area of Niagara on the Lake, or like right in the heart of the town, there are some streets and intersections that are four-way stops, and some that are two-way stops. And when you go through that area, you've really got to pay attention to see, to make sure that you know which one you're on. And I thought perhaps just note to Niagara on the Lake Council that it might be worthwhile revisiting some of those intersections and making them all four-way stops. because I'm a lifelong, I moved away for a number of years, but I mean, I know the area very well. And even I get confused sometimes. I have to pay attention to, okay, is this 4-way? Is it 2? I got to look. And especially when it's an area that has a lot of tourism, it's not always really the best case scenario to have a mix and match of 2-ways and 4-ways. Because, well,
yeah. So you're talking about some of these side roads here, like just off of Queen Street?
Yeah, my crazy monitor is fiddling around.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's back. It's back. It's gone. It's back. It's sort of like a turning signal. It works. It doesn't work. It works. It
no, but here you go. Here's case in point. This is one street removed from the main drag, and you got a 4-way intersection with 2 stop signs.
And folks that are viewing this can see it, but I can't at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see if I can fix it. I'll bang the TV again.
Yeah, just give it a kick. You know.
That work?
When in doubt. While we're doing that, I do want to mention our sponsors, by the way, because we did off the top of the program, but I want to talk about our major sponsor is Gale's Gas Bars. They have been fueling this program for a number of years now. We're into Season 5, Episode 24 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. Don't forget to check out their loyalty program as well. They have a rewards program that is good at all of their facilities, which are like 11 service stations, full serve, as well as self-serve, and convenience stores, Bob's Fast and Fresh convenience stores as well around Niagara. Respect and trust and family are the most important doctrines of their company, and we really, really appreciate the fact that they stick with us here as we stick with them. And again, because of the themes of this program in Niagara, by Niagara, for Niagarans, nothing fits that mold better than Gale. So we thank you very much to Jessica Friesen and all of the folks at Gale's Gas Bars for continuing to support this program. Sandra's Home Healthcare. Sandra D'Alessandro is going to be joining us today to be talking about, well, let me just read this here right now. Sandra put this up on her own Facebook page today. She'll be discussing the new regulations for licensing health agencies in Ontario. It's a crucial topic that affects many in our community. This is an important opportunity to understand the implications of these changes and what they mean for both agencies and workers. Sandra herself joins us at about 1:30 today, or about 1 o'clock today, excuse me. And thank you to her for sponsoring the program. Verge Insurance Group, home, health, auto, life, whatever area of the insurance business that you need coverage in or help with. Verge Insurance Brokers Limited, been around since 1953 in Niagara, another home built and bred Niagara business. Ace Alignment, Janice Purdy, thank you again for continuing your support of this program. She's the owner-operator of Ace Alignment. Head mechanic Darren Miller, senior mechanic Matt Crompton. Wheel alignments and suspensions and front-end repairs and oil changes, all brands and makes and models of automobiles on North Street, just off Geneva in St. Catharines, behind the police station. All right? So thank you to Ace Alignment. Equal Wellness Services. Audrey Wall, the foot nurse, as she has been known for decades here in Niagara. Equal Wellness Services is her expansion and the growth of her business, offering all sorts of various care, as well as continued expert and professional foot care, diabetes foot care as well, which you can understand is a very, very big deal. I'm going to say one word, and I'm not going to explain it, but if you recognize the word, you'll know. Lymphedema is a very, very important topic of discussion, and Audrey is one of the few people in Niagara that is knowledgeable enough to discuss that with you. So keep that in mind. And on top of that, we want to welcome a brand new sponsor to the program today, and you'll see the graphic at the top right of your screen, right over Kevin's nice, pretty blue hat there. Mac Outpost. So I say it for the first time and I blow the name. Mac Outpost in St. Catharines, 353 Lake Street in the Westlake Plaza. You can either call it the plaza across from Don's Lighthouse, or you can call it the Tim Hortons Plaza in in St. Catharines on Lake Street as well. Mac Outpost at 353 Lake Street for everything to do with Apple. They are your source for everything Apple in Niagara. The highest rated Apple computer service in Niagara, in St. Catharines in particular. But Sean is the owner. Derek, the head nerdy tech there. Derek has helped me out many times because I live in the Mac world, and it's just very, very cool to have an organization like this that's been around a while reach out and say, hey, I'd like to sponsor the show. And we said, darn straight. So here we are, Mac Outpost in St. Catharines, 353 Lake Street, Westlake.
Yeah, it's across the road. So you go. There's Don's Lighthouse, the Pizza Hut right across the road. The Tim Hortons you talked about.
Yeah.
And Mac Outpost is...
It used to be the That's Entertainment Plaza. Remember when That's Entertainment was there? And now there's a dollar store there, or Dollarama or something.
Yeah, you got Dollar Tree right there.
Dollar Tree right there, yeah. So that's the place. And believe me, I'm telling you, well, look at this. See this? I just bought that. I had to upgrade. I was going through computer hell because I had this old beast of a Mac that I was abusing it. so I had to replace it, and man, they're great. Derek spent hours with me before I made a decision on what I was going to buy, etc. And I'm pleased as punch. So I'm a personal and real satisfied customer.
Yeah, as am I, Lee. I mean, over the years, we've gone to Mac Outpost, we've gone to Sean and Derek before I really knew who they were, because they're the only place in St. Catharines, or really the only place in Niagara, where you're going to find a level of expertise. And, not if you're looking for some service of your Apple products, there's nowhere else to go. And trust me, if you go to the other stores, you're just going to you're going to leave disappointed.
Well,
so make them your first stop.
Indeed. My experience that really put me over the top with these guys was with Derek, because I like an idiot. The machine I was using before was old. I mean, it was like 2012. It's like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old machine, and it was great. I mean, it was a workhorse. It was a powerhouse, but it was old. It needed. I was overtaxing this thing. And then I did something crazy trying to fix some... You know what it's like, Kevin. You try to fix one thing and then you create a bigger problem. Well, that's what I did. And I upgraded the operating system, and the machine was not capable of handling it. So I bundled it up and I took it in, and Derek helped me give it another 6 or 7 months of quality life. and saved my sanity in the process. So that was great. But now all is well. I got an upgraded machine. Oh man, I went from computer hell to computer heaven. It's awesome. So thanks Mac Outpost for being here. Kevin, we're just a minute or two away from a couple of pretty important people joining us from the Niagara Health System.
And I see Lynn is just hopping in the green room now, so set it up, Lee, and then we'll get her on.
Okay. We woke up this morning to the situation of a software upgrade snafu with Niagara Health Systems operations, and you can well imagine that this caused a lot of concern. It created a lot of information and misinformation and confusion amongst people that had anything to do with Niagara Health System services here in Niagara, including wait time clocks and data things. It's just a wide-ranging list of issues that people would have, because anytime you do a software update on an entire program, it affects pretty much your entire operation. Well, because of that and because of the huge concern, we did reach out to Niagara Health Systems, and as Kevin mentioned, we have somebody getting ready in the green room right now to let you know the people that are going to be joining us. We have Lynn Guerriero, who is the CEO of Niagara Health Systems, joining us right now. We'll introduce our other guest in just a moment. But Lynn, hi, how are you today? Can you hear us loud and clear there?
I can hear you.
Awesome. First of all, on a very challenging morning for you and your operation, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time out to reach Niagara, because these are important things. So I'm going to shut up and let you give us a statement about what went on and what's going on, okay?
Okay, thanks so much, Lee. So, and I believe Simon Akinsuli, my Executive Vice President and Chief Nursing Executive, is also joining us today.
Yes.
I don't see him on screen yet, but he'll be here shortly.
He will be.
Lynn, just so you know, he is here. Is it okay if we have a conversation with you and then jump over to Simon, or do you want him included?
It would be better to include him just so he can sort of see what I'm saying, so that we don't repeat what each other's saying, if that's okay.
Okay, I'll try my best here.
If he's watching, he can probably already see you anyway. You just can't see him seeing you. But we'll do that. Kevin will work his magic. Kevin will work his magic, and we'll get this going in just a second. Kevin will give me a thumbs up sign here. And just to reinforce who this other gentleman is that's joining us is Simon Akinsuli. He is VP of Practice and Clinical Support and Chief Nursing Executive for the Niagara Health Service here in Niagara, along with CEO Lynn Guerriero. And Lynn, I hope I'm not messing up your name. I think I'm saying it right. I hope I am.
It is close enough.
Oh, it's not exact, but close enough?
Well, I say Guerriero, but
you just say Guerriero.
Guerriero. It's supposed to be said with this beautiful Italian accent that I don't have, so I don't even say it correctly. Quite frankly.
All right. So, okay, that's cool.
That's all good.
Okay, Lee, trying to make this work. So we have both people in there. We'll just kind of jump back and forth, but I'll let you take it from here, Lee.
Okay. Lynn, if you could continue with your comments, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, okay. Thanks so much, Lee. And I really do appreciate you having us on today. We really do need to let the public know, and we appreciate this opportunity, about some of the delays we're experiencing at Niagara Health. And I just want to start by saying how grateful we are to all of our physicians and all of our staff who are busy serving patients. We went live back on very early Saturday morning, and we have been sort of learning the system and also trying to troubleshoot all of the technical issues along the way. And our physicians and staff have been working tremendously hard, very long hours, some people without sleep, to make this a success for Niagara. So I first wanted to just start out with that. And also we acknowledge that the new hospital information system is causing longer than usual wait times. And there's a couple of areas where this is being felt the most. Number one, our emergency departments. And then in our patient registration areas, there's many different areas for patient registration. And that's probably where we've experienced the biggest pressure, I would say, particularly yesterday. And we understand how frustrating this must be for patients and their families. And I do really just want to sincerely apologize for the inconvenience that it caused, particularly yesterday, I think, is when we felt it the most. I am pleased to report, however, that the patient registration situation has been remedied, and so we're moving along much quicker today. So most of the extended delays that we were experiencing due to the software slowdowns have been resolved, so that's great news. And it's our hope that each day we're going to get better and better at this. We're going to be improving the HIS. Delays will be much less common, and eventually we're going to see the actual improvements that an HIS system such as this can give us. So I just want to mention that for patients that have scheduled appointments, I want to assure you that you will be seen. So I think sometimes patients were worried that with the delays, they wouldn't be able to be seen. We are going to make sure that everyone is seen. And as always, we're committed to providing care to anyone who shows up to us for help. So we don't want anyone to think that that's not the case. And I want to just also make sure that our teams are working really hard, as I've mentioned, and trying to make sure that all patients get what they need. And what we've done is that it's all hands on deck. So, of course, our physicians, our nurses, our PSWs, et cetera, are continuing to provide care. But every pair of extra hands who could help has been added to the team for direct patient care. So we have added a whole lot of other people to support teams to make sure that our patients are cared for in the best way possible. And as I said, you know, my staff are under a lot of pressure right now, and
Right.
they've been really dedicated to this. They're going above and beyond, and it's really hard for us to implement a new technology. I think you mentioned that, Lee, at the beginning. So it is a challenging process for our people. It's a challenging process for patients, and we did expect delays during this initial transition, so we just are working our way through them. So before I hand it off to Simon, I just want to say thank you again to the community for your patience and your support of our teams. It's been tremendous as we get through some of these growing pains until we can be confident that the system will provide all the best care and the more efficiency than we know it will.
And one thing that I experienced when I was managing operations that were corporate in nature, there would be these software upgrades or changes over the course of time, every few months or every couple of years or whatever. It changes depending on the industry. And I just wanted to ask you one question before we switch over to Simon, is I know one of the questions on the minds of many people would be, well, why are you doing this? And I think that's about the only question I would like to ask you, Lynn, is why change? A lot of people don't like change, but it is, especially in the world of technology. Why are we doing this?
Yes, and it's true. A change is hard. There's no question. I think that what the Niagara community deserves, and I think everyone would agree, is state-of-the-art, world-class healthcare. And you really can't provide state-of-the-art, world-class, high-quality healthcare without the proper digital and technical tools that are available to us today. So this system, because everything is online at fingertips, it connects patients to the providers that they need. It gives providers the information that they need in real time. It will, all members of the team will have the same information. Patients won't have to repeat their stories. It has all kinds of safety features built in, so it doesn't only increase our efficiency eventually, but it will increase the accuracy of information, alerts such as medications, alerts such as allergies. So it incredibly increases the safety of our system, and that's why this investment, it's such a huge investment of time, resources, dollars. It is such a huge change initiative. We would not be doing it unless it was very high value to patient care. I can't stress enough how important it is for us to go digital on our health information. We're actually late to the game, and we really do need this system up and running fully before we open our new hospital in South Niagara, and so that everything's working well.
Okay, thanks for the background on that, Lynn. I appreciate you being here, and I realize that your time is limited because you got to get back to your day jobs. So we do have Simon standing by. Do we not, Kevin?
Yeah, we do. So why don't I suggest something here is I'll do some stuff on the back end, and we'll transition from Lynn to Simon. But here, right on niagarahealth.on.ca, you can kind of find a landing page all about the HIS, this hospital information system. And it begins with a very polite, like, hey, listen, we know there's some growing pains. And I'll let you kind of read through this, Lee.
Yeah, we appreciate your patience as our teams become familiar with our new hospital information system. Please note that emergency department wait time clocks are temporarily offline for a minimum of 2 weeks to allow for integration into the new system. To support patients during this time, we'll have volunteers in our EDs to assist with any questions and provide guidance, allowing our staff and physicians to remain focused on patient care. So,
and there's a little more information. I mean, really, at the end of the day, say goodbye to paper, say hello to digital. Yeah. The thought that we're in 2024 and we still have a hospital system that's run on pen and paper seems, well, gosh, yeah, we have to move.
I would have never thought that we weren't already digital. But as CEO Guerriero said, this is overdue, and we're a little bit behind the curve, so it's time, and that's good. It's very good. Paper records and outdated electronic systems have been replaced by an electronic system that will benefit patients, families, physicians, staff, and the community. The significant and secure move to a state-of-the-art system will enhance coordination, efficiency, and access to information, making patient care faster and safer. Okay, Simon Akinsuli is the VP of Practice Clinical Support and Chief Nursing Executive for the Niagara Health System. Can I call you Simon?
Absolutely, yeah. Nice to talk to you.
Nice to have you here. Bit of a challenging time for you and your crew and your staff and support people and everybody throughout the system. Now, from your perspective, where are we as far as day-to-day patient care, and how can we help you?
So I'll just say, first of all, so my background's in nursing, so I just want to let you know that. And I started off in pediatric oncology, so this is really near and dear to my heart, the fact that we're doing this. I'm actually been very excited for this project. I think Lynn mentioned that, just the fact it's actually going to be able to bring us more world-class care to our Niagara residents by having our electronic health record system. I think what's really exciting about it, we're just in the early days, that all that information, we've gone from a paper system to now a fully electronic system. So you can imagine before we had paper charts and sometimes you couldn't find things or somebody had it, you couldn't do your notations. Now, everybody has instant access to that chart. We can do a really great job taking care of our patients and everybody has access to that information, really great for collaboration. So really, really excited about that. There's been some minor hiccups and slowdowns, which is totally normal at this particular point so early in our HIS adoption, but really excited about the project right now.
Okay, now as far as the folks on your front lines, et cetera, those are the people that, because they are in the front lines, are going to be dealing with the public, and there might be some stressful situations. And I guess one of the messages that we want to pass along or get from you is how are things happening on the front lines, and how are things going, and how are your people, and how can we help you?
Yeah. So first of all, on the front lines, ED, for example, we have volunteers that are working in our emergency department right now, helping to support patients, answer questions, and in the registration, helping that way. Our frontline staff are obviously, doing a really great job, doing really great patient care. Are they learning a new system? Absolutely. I think we have to help to be patient with them for that as they kind of learn some of the details. But, our teams are really resilient. I, had the opportunity, like the rest of leadership, to go through all this weekend, talking to teams, and they're so focused on taking care of our patients. They're doing a great job. But obviously, a bit of patience, that kind of learning things is obviously very helpful for them right now. But just let you know, they're doing a really great job, and they're really keeping the patient interest at heart.
Simon, when this system is fully integrated and the bugs are worked out, because as I mentioned to Lynn, when I've experienced this as a manager of organizations in the past, there is never, ever, ever a software upgrade or implementation that goes without the odd bug jumping in to cause people headaches. It always happens. It's part of the process. But one of the things at our health systems that is always a thing are wait times. I mean, that's in capital letters almost the thing that is province-wide as far as being an issue in our healthcare systems are concerned, and it's part of the process as it gets bigger and more difficult to deal with as far as numbers are concerned. This is a long setup to this question, I'm sorry, but I'm assuming that this new system, when fully operational and the bugs are smoothed out, et cetera, that things like wait times and those things that are uppermost in patients' minds will be alleviated somewhat.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. Right off the bat, just speaking as a nurse and working, just the fact that you're going to have access to all your information, lab tests, x-rays, all those reports really easily and quickly, it's just a total game changer. The fact that when you talk to a physician at home, they'll have the opportunity to look up that chart as well. You can talk to them and really collaborate. You can't do that with paper. It's obviously going to make things more efficient. Also, we're going to have a really much better understanding of, in our hospital, how many people are sick with certain illnesses, how many people have like respiratory illnesses, et cetera. It can really help us to do really good planning that way. So yeah, we're going to definitely see some major improvements from that alone. So we're going to definitely become more efficient for sure by doing that, which means we're going to see more people and take care of more people. So really excited about that for sure.
One more quick question, then I'll let you get back to your day job. As I mentioned to Lynn, is what kind of, at this moment, projected timeline are we before we've worked ourselves through this process?
We're in early stages for sure. I think to stabilize things, it always takes a bit of time. We have something called optimization, which is basically we're going to try to optimize the system and make it better. It takes time. I think we're just not even within the first week yet. So, we'll just have to continue to see how it all comes together, but we're doing a great job with it so far.
All right. I won't keep you guys any longer because I think we've covered the nuts and bolts of what's happening. Simon Akinsuli, Lynn Guerriero, thank you very much for joining us and taking time out on short notice to deal with public information, because as you know, when these things hit social media, it can be an explosion of confusion So
Yeah, and
we appreciate you coming in to try to smooth that out.
and thank you for your time. It's great to have a chance to talk about it. And a couple of things for sure. Thanks to our staff once again. They just an amazing job they've been doing. And also, thanks to the public as patient with us, and we appreciate that. So, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. And let them know that, we do an amazing job taking care of our patients here at Niagara Health for sure.
Keep us posted, and if we can do anything to help get the word out as we go forward, let us know, all right?
Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day.
You too. Bye, Simon.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you go. That's about as much as we know and about as much as we can tell you. Healthcare is obviously always one of the more contentious and debated issues in our society, in our world, in Niagara, in Ontario, in the country, around the world. It's just it's a big concern, understandably so, and rightfully so. So we have to deal with these things as they come up, and we appreciate CEO Lynn Guerriero and VP of Practice Clinical Support Simon Akinsuli for joining us on episode 24 of season 5 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. Good get today, Kevin. Thanks for working behind the scenes to make that happen.
Turn myself on here.
Yeah.
Kudos to Erica over in the NHS Communications Department for pulling this together because, things are very fluid, it's dynamic, and getting the latest information out there to the public is paramount right now. And here you go. Here's what the NHS is doing and saying. As we adapt a new information system, if you have an appointment, you will be seen, but for less urgent needs, consider a virtual visit with Urgent Care Ontario, a walk-in clinic or family doctor, or your local pharmacist. And if you need to know more info on your options, they've placed a link for you right there. And because of the backlog, I know parking has become an issue over there. For example, yesterday, and I haven't seen a post about today, but parking was free all day yesterday. And how often do we complain about parking? But here's the NHS recognizing that there's a strain on their system right now. So what can we do? Well, you know what? We can at least make parking free for everybody that's stuck here a little longer.
Keep it simple
than they otherwise would have wanted to be. So
yeah.
So kudos to them and for coming on. So that was, and I mean, here they are. They're getting the message out through their socials. And again, this is just Niagara Health that I'm scrolling here on Facebook.
Right. Okay. Well done. Thank you, Erica, as well. Thank you to Lynn and Simon for joining us from NHS. Ain't nothing perfect, but hopefully this is a step towards getting there. Coming up at 1 o'clock today, CEO of Sandra's Home Healthcare, Sandra D'Alessandro, is going to be joining us. She's actually on the road right now for a very interesting reason. She's going to be filling us in on that as well. It's been a really almost a moving target, home healthcare regulations and accreditations in this province over the last number of years, and I believe it was predicated and by COVID being a catalyst for investigations and evaluations of how healthcare and home healthcare and all those things associated with it have evolved. And boy, we learned some things throughout COVID that it was good to learn, but they were uncomfortable to learn about some of the practices that were in place. And so one of the positive outcomes of this is the fact that there are new regs in place, there are new accreditation practices for this world. And Sandra's going to be talking to us about that and other things as she pops in as one of our loyal sponsors of the program here. And around 1 o'clock, like I said, she's on the road, so it might be a bit of a fluid time frame, but she'll be joining us from wherever she is today. I think she's on her way to Barrie for an official review of a facility up there. We'll talk more about that.
Yeah, where do you want to go here, Lee? I know there's all kinds of stuff that we shortlisted.
There's some cool pictures. There was this one. There are a couple of truck issues in Niagara. One of them was.
Yeah, that shifted load.
That's the one I was thinking of, because I know some people that are professional or have been professional truck drivers, and one of the first things, one of the primary things that you're supposed to be aware of when you're driving a big 18-wheeler is how secure your load is. irrespective of the kind of truck or the kind of load, whatever it is, but this is obviously something gone wrong. Look at that. Now, there's another picture too. Look at that. Now, but this didn't cover the whole flatbed. It was a large flatbed truck, I think. And this was just one. There, see, look at that. That is one section, that is one load that was on that flatbed, and it shifted. Well, it's my understanding, and if there are truck drivers watching this stream right now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it is my understanding that before a driver heads out on the road in a truck with a load on it, it is his or her responsibility to make sure that load is secure. Oops. This was not good.
Yeah, now, Lee, in the comments on 411, it looks like it was actually somebody in Niagara that noticed that the load had shifted, not the driver themselves, and alerted the driver to pull over, which he made the responsible decision and did that. You know, we've probably all been there when somebody's got a blown tire or something's up with their load or their trailer, and you're honking and you're looking out the window like, hey, buddy, you gotta pull over and take a look at this.
Okay, yeah, that's this is not good. There are protocols you go through for securing various kinds of loads. There are things you're supposed to do that prevent this. This isn't just a oops, oh, it happened. It should never happen. There's, and especially when you see that sign, oversized load, it's like there should be extra, and I'm sure there are, extra precautionary protocols in place to prevent that load from shifting. But that's what happened. Have you ever gone by a truck and looked at what's on that trailer and thought to yourself, oh my God, I hope I'm not around if that ever comes loose? You know those great big coils of steel that you see on trucks? We've all driven by them or around them, or they've driven by us on highways. I think, oh my word, I don't want to be around if that thing ever happened to come loose for some reason. Well, if it was something maybe a little bit heavier than whatever that wooden load was, it could have come loose. It has happened before. I mean, systems fail, I suppose. But and you can't put it all on the driver, but the driver has to be secure that his load is secure when they leave where they are. But, oh, Kevin, I remember driving in British Columbia in the mountains, and there is a proliferation of logging trucks. I don't know, we don't have a lot of experience in Ontario with logging trucks, but out there, these
they make me nervous.
Oh man, these massive loads of open air stacks of logs, and there are pylons around the edges of the trailer, and these logs are just packed in there, relying on their own weight to keep it stable. Oh, that's us. I get away from those trucks as fast as I can.
Yeah, I get nervous. I mean, I get nervous going through the Feulled tunnel. So
okay. Well, speaking of tunnels, that's a smooth segue into our next little truck story.
Yeah, this guy.
Now this guy has a serious problem. This was Fort Erie bound.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was the Lundy's Lane overpass.
Yeah, you
at
can
the
see
Queen
it
Elizabeth
exactly.
Highway.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, so he got in, but he couldn't get out. Okay. So what did they call it? They called it a side swipe?
Yeah, he sideswiped. He sideswiped the overpass. Or I guess he was going under, so he didn't clip the top.
Yep.
Hit the side and like really ripped his truck apart. There's some good photos in the comments, and I'll get to those here, Lee.
So you go under. So as you know, all these bridges have clearances marked on them. So you know if you're driving a vehicle whether you're going to be able to fit underneath them or not, or you should know, because you should know what clearance you need to go under a structure. Well, obviously the clearance was there, but the angle of attack was a little off. So
Now, the driver in this case, Lee, was ultimately charged with impaired.
that is the scariest part of this. There was no one hurt in this, which is good. There was no other vehicle involved. Nobody was involved in an accident or anything like that.
Trying to find some of the photos that the commenters listed, because there's some pretty vivid ones. I mean, he sheared the side of that truck. It's wide open, like your open heart surgery at the NHS.
So the fact that we have an operator of a big rig on a Niagara 400 series highway, like the Queen Elizabeth Way, that is impaired.
I mean, how'd your day go?
Yeah. We're lucky that it didn't get any worse than that for anybody else that could have been in the area. But that's the result of being able to go into a bridge and not get out cleanly.
Yeah, I mean, crazy. And yeah, that's the Lundy's Lane. You can kind of see the sloping sides.
Yeah.
Who knows that bridge? It's been there for a while. There it is right there. Somebody posted saying, we recognize that.
Oh, yeah, familiar with that.
The original outlet mall, of course, is just on the far side of that. You got the hotel just to your right.
And, I mean, that's an older overpass as well. So you have to be paying attention when you go into these places, because the clearances are not large. It's not like going under the Garden City Skyway or anything like that. I mean, that's a big, oh my Lord, that's a great big honking expensive truck there. I mean, that's not somebody's backyard truck. That's a dandy.
That was a good one, Lee. I mean, here it comes again. I mean, he just said that one picture there that the commenter threw up just showed it destroyed.
Well, I suppose on the plus side, that driver will not be on the road again, which is a plus. Joining us on the program, as mentioned before, is one of our sponsors, and we thank her for being one of our sponsors, is the CEO of Sandra's Home Healthcare, Sandra D'Alessandro, and she's going to give us an update on exactly where she is. Where are you, Sandra?
Hi, I'm actually headed up to North Bay.
Okay.
I'm about an hour and a half away now.
Yeah. Okay. So you're in a vehicle on the side of the road somewhere?
I am. I'm not in my office. This looks like my office, but I'm in my vehicle.
Well,
my second office.
Good for you. That's a very classy presentation you got there. So, one of the main important things I want to talk about is what I was talking about before, and we've talked about many times, is the changes in regulations and accreditations for operators in your field. But first of all, let's talk about where you're going and why. I think it's kind of cool that you are on the road, and you've got something pretty exciting to share with us about what you're doing out there.
I do. So we are going up to Canadore College. It is called, they actually have one of a kind. Sorry, I did make some notes.
Okay.
They have a one of a kind facility here to Canada. So it's a health and wellness facility. They have a lot of different programs for seniors. They really include Indigenous in their programming, and they really focus on reducing social isolation among seniors. Okay. So we are collaborating. I have created new virtual reality technology for Alzheimer's. So we are going to place the family member or the PSW or the nurse or the doctor in the shoes of a patient feeling like they have Alzheimer's. So it's about a 20-minute experience, and we're using it for an educational piece, an educational tool. So together with Canadore, we will be testing. It is in its last phases, and we're going up to test, and it should be on the market by February.
And you created this?
I have created it. Now, I cannot take all the credit, so I had a lot of help from the Alzheimer's Society of Niagara region. They've been a tremendous resource. We worked hand in hand and together collaborated it with a company called Zavatar. So Jason is actually here on the road with me today from Zavatar. We are going to present to Canadore. So very exciting.
Yeah, sounds exciting. Good luck with that, and have a safe trip.
Thank you.
When you and Kevin and I were talking about the possibilities of Sandra's Home Healthcare being a sponsor of this program, we found, meaning Kevin and I, we found out some really interesting things from you that we had no idea about. And my feeling is, I mean, a lot of this grew out of COVID and our increased awareness of home health care and healthcare in general. But you mentioned to us that there were, at that time when we talked, there were new regulations coming for help areas in Ontario, and that very, very few of the people currently supposedly practicing in this field in the province would be able to pass those accreditation requirements. Could you explain that to us? And of course I know that you do, but could you explain to us what happened there?
Absolutely. So it did go live. So July 1st of 2024, it was mandated that all temporary health agencies and recruiters get licensed. Now, this is what I've been finding is that wording doesn't exactly define a home health care agency. So that's where the lack of understanding really came from. So unfortunately, the Ontario government has classified home health care agencies as temporary help agencies.
Okay.
So I wanted to alert the public and to let them know that we are now licensed, and it's important because we're here to protect, of course, our workers and our seniors.
What is that licensing supposed to accomplish? What's the kernel behind the fruit here?
It's actually to protect workers. But it puts other things in place to make the businesses liable.
Okay.
So documentation, keeping you in legislation and getting the regulations out to you. So right now, daycares have been licensed for years. Nursing homes, retirement homes. We have been the only sector that have not been licensed to date. So I'm very excited this has happened. Very excited.
How many practitioners of your industry might not have made the grade? I mean, there have to have been quite a number of people that are either operating without a license, which they shouldn't be doing, or have dropped off the board.
There's actually hundreds of agencies in Niagara alone that do not have their license today. So part of me coming today was for an educational piece for the consumer, to make sure you're asking that question and you're really protecting yourself. Are you licensed? I'm also trying to educate the home health care agencies out there to let them know to get licensed. There are hefty fines and penalties that come along if you are operating without a license.
What are some of the areas that consumers might be unaware of that require these licenses? Is this strictly the home health care? Is it PSW workers? Is it like what sort of umbrella are these agencies working under?
It's quite a large umbrella. It is home health care agencies, but it's also any recruiting type of business. So that could be umbrellaed under a lot of different things.
Okay.
And I urge people to go to the website and educate yourself about it. There's a lot of information in there.
Is it this your website or another website that you're referring to?
No, it's the government website. I believe I sent it to Kevin last night.
Okay, we'll find it. Now, obviously, Sandra's Home Healthcare is accredited and licensed and meets all of these regulations. That we wanted to make that particularly clear.
Yes.
And also, you operate, your head office is in the Niagara Health Systems location on 4th Avenue in St. Catharines. We talked, you were in the car, so you probably weren't aware of the fact that we talked with Lynn Guerriero, the CEO of NHS, as well as Simon Atranculi, the VP of Clinical Services there, about the software upgrade snafu today. So hopefully that didn't impact too negatively on you and your customers, but just wanted to bring that up because we've had sort of a coincidental content overlap today.
I'll have to go back and watch.
Yeah. Sandra, before we let you go, because I know you got to get back on the road, before we let you go, can you give us your perspective? Because I talk about you every week. I know you probably don't hear it because you're a busy lady, but we do, and sing the praises of the background and the services and what that you do. But can you just give us the genesis of how Sandra's Home Healthcare came to be? Because I think it's a great story.
I can. It is a very personal story. I started my career in this field. I worked for larger companies, home healthcare companies, nursing homes, and I did not think that's what I wanted to do. So I took a break and I quit my jobs. And 3 days later, I got a call to help out a woman locally in Port Dalhousie, actually, to help feed her nutritious meals and do some driving. She was no longer able to drive. I did that. I went to meet her. It was a not so nice meeting. She wasn't friendly at all. She actually wasn't even expecting me. So the family, thank you, Peter, didn't tell her I was coming. And I was a surprise. And she was at a stage in her life where she felt she could do it on her own.
Right.
So it was a bit of a challenge the first 3 months. She wasn't nice. And one day I walked in. I really thought I made a breakthrough. She actually asked me for my phone number.
Ah.
So I thought that was great news. So I went home, big smile on my face. I was so excited. And the next morning she called and said, Sandra, you don't have to come. My son is going to take me out for lunch. I said, oh, that's lovely. Hang up, immediately call her son, whom he's not taking her out for lunch. So
okay.
I had to make the uncomfortable decision to drive over there and show up. She was quite upset. So I basically laid it out and I said, your family hired me. I'm here to stay. I am really fun. We could make this fun. She closed her eyes and they remained closed for over an hour. And I stayed. I did not move. And when she opened her eyes, she slammed her hands down on the table and said, I met my match. You are more stubborn than I. So from that day forward, for the next 3 years, we were best friends, absolute best friends. She holds a very special place in my heart. She taught me a lot of things along the way. After she passed, the kids asked me to stay with the house. So I stayed with the house. I cleaned it, did yard work, maintained it. We all got together about 8 months later. And she snuck in an envelope into her drawer. And her son found it and alerted me of the envelope. When I opened it, I was absolutely shocked. She had actually made a business plan and left me enough money to start this company.
Wow.
Did not want to accept the gift. The children, of course, absolutely said with no uncertainty, you deserve this gift. Best gift I could have ever gotten.
I guess.
And I try to stay true to her words in her business plan. So 19 years later, I'm going on my 20th year in 2025.
Congratulations, and that's the kind of dedication. Thank you for sharing it, because it is a personal story, and we thank you for sharing that. And it's just a graphic example of the kind of dedicated business people and service providers we have here in Niagara. Sandra, I know you got to get back on the road. We thank you. We're so honored to have you as a sponsor of this program, so we thank you for your support. We're so proud of what you do and why you do it, and I wish you nothing but the best, and good luck at the college with the virtual reality Alzheimer's thing. That sounds pretty cool. I know you'll keep us updated.
Thank you so much, Lee. And just know I can't do it alone. I have an amazing team behind me. Brittany, Carrie, Kate, Gabby, all of you in the office, my PSWs on the floor. They really make the business. Thank you all.
And that kind of specialized personal care and attention that Sandra was describing with this lady that got her started is the kind of the service that is at the core of Sandra's home health care. And I wanted to say that while you were still on the screen. So,
thank you.
All right. Safe travels. We'll talk to you when you get back. Good luck with everything. And
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate your time today, kiddo.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay,
Have a great day.
Bye, Sandra.
Bye.
Yeah. What an amazing lady and a story, Kevin. And as I mentioned before, and I mean it sincerely, not just because she is a sponsor, but what a great Niagara story of the birth of a business that is so desperately needed around here.
Yeah, Lee, and you bang on. I mean, you touched on it, but the one thing that really resonated when we sat down with Sandra, and I mean, we've known Sandra for a couple of years prior to her bringing her business on board.
Oh, yeah.
Really imparted on me was how personal of a touch they put on it and how important that is to her at the top to breathe through her entire company.
Indeed.
That everybody knows, look, we tailor this to the individual. And I mean, it sounds like a simple thing, but she always said, I've got a phone number. If you call the number, somebody answers. And all you have to do is speak to, the elder people in your family and how comforting that is to know that I don't want to deal with a switchboard. I don't want to deal with a chat box. I want to deal with a person. I want to call the phone number. I want to deal with a person, and I want to explain to them my issue, and I want them to deliver a human response. And that's what Sandra does, top to bottom.
My mother, God rest her soul, passed away at almost 102 years of age. In the last few years of her life, she was still at home. But she required home health care, obviously, in later years. And there were two aspects of this situation that were very important. A, she didn't want somebody there at all, first of all, period, like the woman that Sandra was talking about. And B, once she did agree to have somebody there, she didn't want a different person showing up every day or every hour, every 2 days or whatever it is. So that the comfort of the patient is so important, and that's one of the things that Sandra goes out of her way to make sure is there's a good match between service worker and patient, and it's a kind of a symbiotic relationship. So important for those of us in the community that have loved ones that require attention. So we're just pleased as punch that she decided to join us and stay with the program. Just an example of a real quality business here that does everything right as much as possible.
Where do we want to go here? Got lots of stuff. I mean, we had the off-leash dog story.
I like the dog story.
We also have the hit and run at Brock, but then there was a bicycle versus scooter in Welland that left a father in ICU.
I know.
Possible arson at a home in St. Catharines, and
we can cover all that stuff.
Yeah, and then the off-leash dogs. Where do you want to start?
Let's quickly do the off-leash dogs. I think this is such an important piece of public service. And Saturday night, and again, I'm reading this because we also do a podcast without pictures. So for the people that simply listen to the program, we do read obvious posts that you can read along with us so that the podcast listeners can be understanding of what the hell it is we're talking about. On Saturday night, my partner and our almost 3-year-old son walking our 2 dogs near the Shoppers on Montrose. Suddenly, 2 dogs, possibly bully breeds, came charging at them. My partner quickly pushed our son back, preparing to defend himself. Thankfully, our dogs reacted by trying to play, which seemed to change the other dog's behavior. Very key point there. The owner had them off-leash in the field by Shoppers and was yelling for them to come back, but they ignored her and kept running toward my family. My partner was horrified at what was about to potentially happen. I can't even imagine what could have happened if these dogs had decided to attack. With a young child, 2 dogs, and partner all there. To be clear, the breed doesn't matter here.
And just so you know, Lee, we lost the rest of the sentence there. It says, and my partner all there, the outcome could have been devastating.
Yeah, of course it could. So to be clear, the breed doesn't matter here. I'm only mentioning it to help inform the owner and warn others who may know these dogs. To whoever owns them, please leash your dogs if they don't reliably respond to commands. It could prevent a terrible incident. And to anyone reading this, if your dog doesn't have excellent recall and self-control, never let them off leash in an open public area like that. Find a secluded spot instead. My partner will be carrying coyote spray to protect himself in case something like this happens again, and I encourage others to do so also. I don't think this is the first time these dogs go out, as I've seen 2 dogs matching the description. One of the friends of this program, and one of my personal friends, is a well-known and renowned dog trainer by the name of Dave McMahon. You can look him up. You probably see him on Facebook all over the place. And Dave and I had an opportunity to talk about this many times in public, on the air, in private, etc. And there are a couple of positions that he has. These aren't mine, but I'm sort of paraphrasing Dave's positions on this. First of all, he is not a fan of off-leash dog parks at all. Now, you may think it's fine. There are a couple of them in St. Catharines. So first of all, his concept about off-leash dog parks and off-leash dogs in general are the fact that one dog's behavior can affect another dog's behavior for years or the rest of its life. For example, let's say you have a very fun and playful, like we did. I'll use the breed of our dog as an example. Fun, playful, obedient, just a nice dog with people and animals alike, border collie. And we would take Georgie to the park, and sometimes an off-leash park, rarely, but I could take her to a park when there weren't too many other people around, and she was so obedient. If I told her to stop or stay or whatever, she'd do it. I knew that she was well behaved, but I was still very, very careful about wherever she came off leash. And if there was any dog even remotely within another time zone even, I would put her back on the leash and we'd go our separate ways. But Dave's position on this is the fact that if you are in an off-leash park and a dog that is aggressive in its behavior attacks your dog in some sort of an aggressive way, it can change your dog's personality for life, because they can be conditioned very quickly to behave totally differently from how they normally behave. So the concept of unknown animals hanging around together is fraught with potential bad sides. So that's something to really, really think about, even if you take your dog legally to an off-leash park. It's not always a good thing to do, because you don't know whom your dog is associating with. You don't know the personality of these other dogs. You just don't. And the other thing that Dave used to say is we don't train dogs. We train owners. And therein lies the rub with stories just like this, because owners who allow your dogs to run free, if they do not obey commands, if they are not tied to your hip at all times, and you know that they have excellent recall, and if you let them off the leash, you are the problem, not the dog.
Yeah, Lee, I'm on board. I find it totally ignorant owners that think that everybody else is cool with their dog being off leash.
Dogs are animals. They are animals.
I mean, I know you know your dog, but I don't know your dog.
And you don't know my dog, so you don't know how my dog is going to react to your very nice dog from coming up. He might rip their ears off. You don't know.
I've always been very nervous around dogs, and I'm kind of aging myself out of that. I'm much more comfortable now than I used to be, but all the time through my 20s and 30s, and I know you're probably thinking to yourself, what, KJ, you're not in your 30s anymore? But I'm not.
Well,
I was very nervous around dogs, and when I saw people walking without a leash, my thought was, that dog is going to attack me.
Well, you're not a dog owner. You're not.
No,
you're not
but
a
I'm
dog.
just saying is that for dog owners, you're comfortable with your dog and you think everything's cool, but just so you know, not everybody else feels that way, and I shouldn't be put in a position. Remember when we used to work at the building down the road,
Yeah.
and we had the boss that let people bring their dogs in.
Oh, I know.
If our boss at the time wasn't such a tyrant, I was going straight to HR. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm coming to my workplace, and I've got dogs wandering around.
If our boss at the time wasn't such a tyrant, that's good.
And pretty apropos, I think.
Yeah.
Lee, can we move on to this trick or treat one? I just like the story because last week we covered Mary, and Mary got her bicycle back.
Oh.
And here's the one from Halloween. What was your Halloween like? Were you up? Oh no, you were in BC.
I was in British Columbia I went out with the grandkiddies on Halloween.
And how'd that go?
It was wonderful. It's just.
And what'd you have? A little SpongeBob, a little Lightning McQueen?
No, I had a Flash.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, Flash the super hero, and who's the alter ego of Spider-Man?
Alter ego of like what are the Spider-Verse?
Yeah,
Spider-Man?
like what? Yeah, I can't
There's
remember.
all kinds of different Spider-Men.
Yeah. Anyway,
there's Spider-Men. Okay, so what are the Spider-Men? That's cool.
I saw. We went to a busy neighborhood in Penticton, British Columbia, and there are a lot of elaborate costumes. There were a lot of those big puffy dinosaurs walking around. You know those great?
Oh yeah, the inflatable ones.
So before we get to the story you wanted to get to, how was the laundry basket? Oh, come on, help me. What was Elisa? Aaliyah.
Ayla was a Kleenex box.
Oh, the Kleenex box, yeah.
With a crown that turned her into Queenex.
Queenex, yes. And
Alex
Alex was a laundry basket.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up some photos because, of course, it was just cute as all get out, right?
And you know what? I've had numerous people over the last couple of weeks talk to me about our story about the lady getting her bike back. And people that struck a chord with some people. In fact, they were so happy to hear that story and said, hey, cool story about the lady getting her bike back. And, you can do a lot of stories and you never know quite which one is going to strike a chord with folks, and that one certainly did. So I'm glad we did. I'm glad we did that one.
Here we go. I'll throw them up there for you, Lee.
Yeah, okay. Let me have a look.
Sorry, it took me a little longer to get to it, but
that's good.
There you go right there.
There's Kleenex.
So there's my daughter. A box of Kleenex with a crown makes her into...
Queenex.
Queenex.
That is awesome. Good for you guys.
And then Alex... There's a laundry basket.
That is so cool.
And both of them brought home their most creative award in their age group at their school.
Did they? Wow.
So anyway, I'll let you get to this story, also from Halloween night, and it comes from North End St. Catharines, and I'll pull up a photo of the girl in question.
Yeah. This is my daughter on Halloween. We were at Rio Lane. It was our first time. It was great. We loved all the houses, but all good things come to an end. Circled in the photo, which Kevin will put up, in green is a fanny pack. This fanny pack helps to keep my daughter alive. She is a type 1 diabetic, and someone stole this out of the bottom of my stroller when we were trick-or-treating. I beg you to please return it, no questions asked. I don't even care if you have a friend of a friend message me, so you don't have to tell me. I don't have much to offer, but this is something she desperately needs. Please return it back to her. And there's a young lady dressed up.
And you can see, kind of has like almost like a fanny pack slung over her shoulder.
Yeah, hanging down there in front of her.
But the good thing is in the comments, and I mean, look at Nick's right there.
So, Niagara 411, Nick put up, thank you so much, everyone. Someone has come forward to help her purchase a new one. What an amazing community we have.
And just so you know, that's in respect to kind of half of the story.
Yes.
They did find the purse.
Yeah.
They found it in the haunted house on Rio Lane, but one of her items was missing out of the purse. I don't know if it fell out or what happened. Maybe it got stolen. Nobody really knows. But people came up and they returned it to the lady. Somebody found it there on Rio Lane, and it's still missing something. So somebody stepped forward and said, and there are all kinds of offers as you go through here. Hey, I deal with a kid with type 1. I used to have diabetes. I've got some leftover equipment. Maybe you can have that. So really great, just showing the community that is Niagara, and of course funneled through Niagara 411.
Before we get to our musical guest, who is an urban artist.
Just Zone.
Yeah, that unfortunately has passed away.
Yeah, I can touch on that a little more, Lee. I know I'm a little more familiar with the story.
Yeah, you can do that in a minute, and we'll get there. But before we get there, I do want to thank our sponsors once again while we have a couple of minutes to do so, because we've only got about 5 minutes left in this extravaganza today. Gales Gas Bars Limited, our key sponsor here on the program, serving Niagara for pretty close to 60 years now, and will go on well beyond, I'm sure. So we thank them for continuing to be our major sponsor of the program. So thank you to Jessica Friesen and Gales. Jessica's picked up a new hobby, by the way. She's not aware I'm going to be mentioning this, but I'm going to say it anyway. She's trying her hand at her own version of photography, and she posts the odd thing. So Jay Friesen Photography, check him out. Good luck, Jess, and thank you, Gales. Also, Sandra's Home Healthcare. We talked to Sandra a lot today, and again, we continue to thank Sandra and her team for sponsoring this program. Mark Shirk, Blake's son, and their staff, Verge Insurance Group, home, health, auto, life insurance, insurance brokers that will serve your needs, whatever they are, operating since 1953 here in Niagara. Ace Alignment, Darren and Matt and the gang over there, and they're pretty much the gang dealing with all of your automotive needs, regardless of make, model, high-end, low-end, new, old, doesn't really matter. North Street, St. Catharines off Geneva, just behind the police station. Equal Wellness Services, Audrey, the Foot Nurse, Supreme Foot Care for many, many years here, including diabetic foot care, as well as other issues that can be associated with cancer sufferers called lymphedema, if you're familiar with that word, and are having issues, because this is a big issue. When we talk with Audrey, we're going to be talking with her in the upcoming weeks. She's going to explain more and more about this, but it's an issue that is so complex and so interesting in our world. Lymphedema. If you know somebody that is suffering from this, you'll know what I'm talking about. Audrey Wall is a lady for you to talk to. Equal Wellness Services, 365 Vine Street, St. Catharines. I know you won't remember phone numbers, but I'll say it anyway, 938-3668. As soon as she gets a website up, we'll make sure that we hook you up with that as well. Mac Outpost, our brand new sponsor. Sean, owner, head geek tech guy, Derek, and their team for everything Apple in Niagara. These are the guys, and I can speak to you personally about my experiences with them. They're the best. Westlake Plaza, 353 Lake Street, St. Catharines, across from Don's Lighting, in the Tim Hortons Plaza, what's now the Dollar Tree Plaza, used to be That's Entertainment, you know, that section of Ontario Street, they're in that plaza. Mac Outpost, the highest rated Apple computer service in St. Catharines. Check them out. Brand new sponsor this week, and we're so pleased to have them with us on this Season 5, Episode 24 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, who would be me, this guy there. And Kevin Jack, co-founder of WeeStream, Canada's premier streaming service, along with Brandon Scram as well. Kevin, you guys have had a crazy week. Nice to see you being able to take a little bit of a break and do something fun here.
No, I've been extremely busy with council meetings at night, Niagara Falls last night. Oh, we didn't get a chance to do this on the show, but another proposed hotel that its architecture is just stunning, unlike something we've ever seen before. It's proposed to go just across the street from the old casino. You know where the Bird Kingdom is right there? There's a couple of empty parking lots.
Yeah.
It's in both parking lots, with it straddling Ontario Street.
Who are we going to put in all these places?
I don't know.
All these rooms.
And it's also going to come with it some exhibits, like an ice sculpture exhibit and a big terrace and indoor. It's
wow.
just...
Who's developing this?
I couldn't tell you.
You don't remember?
Yeah,
okay.
I couldn't tell you. I don't want to get it wrong. But it's very cool and visually absolutely stunning.
The growth in Niagara is becoming incredible.
It really is. So this week, and just transitioning into our musical guest, remember some months ago we interviewed Ezza from Choom Gang.
Yes.
Eric.
Yeah.
And Ezza came on, talked about his music, the hip-hop scene here in Niagara. And since I was really moved by the homicide, by the murder of Daniel Sanvito,
Yes.
DJ Ill Table Manners.
Ill Table Manners,
local guy in the hip-hop scene. And then this week, hip-hop scene struck again with the passing of a DJ that I didn't know, an MC that I didn't know, named Just Zone. And unfortunately, wasn't able to get a whole lot of information on him other than he did pass at far too young an age. I don't know the circumstances surrounding him. I went and listened to some of his music, and it almost brought a tear to my eye because the song we're going to feature is called My Clarity by Just Zone. It's about 5 years old, and again, I don't know. It almost sounds as though he's talking to his daughter.
Okay.
I don't know that he's a father himself. Maybe he's just embodying somebody else in his music. And it also looks very much like it was shot around Niagara. If you notice some of the backdrop, and you say, I know exactly what street that is, but it looks very Niagara. And again, it sounds like, he's talking to his daughter, and knowing that he's gone now, the words just hit a little differently. So so R.I.P. to Just Zone, and condolences to everybody who knew him, who recorded with him, and all of his loved ones.
Well, we will leave it there. Thank you, Kevin. And we will leave you here. Thank you to Fiddler's Poorhouse for helping to make this our home every couple of weeks at 149 St. Paul Street. Great staff, great food, good place to spend some time. And there we go to play us off the stage, Just Zone.
Thinking of you, thinking of you.
Dear Scarlett, you mean the world to me. You're perfect just being yourself. Your self-worth is free. Please believe in what you want to see. I'm honestly impressed with all the lessons that you've taught to me. You've made me proud every second you've been living, and that's not embellishment. I'll tell you, kid, that I'm not kidding. You saved me from the depths of hell where devils dwell and God's forbidden. Stopped and listened to my heart's ambition, and it's your forgiveness. No lying, I'm crying all while I'm writing this, but excited when I think about your path into enlightenment. I know you're the type of kid who wants everyone to love you, but all you need is yourself, and no one's words could ever touch you. Please trust that I'ma be around. I'm not going anywhere. I still stare down in sadness for those couple years I weren't around, but I will never disappear again, don't even have a doubt. I know you're in a rush to grow up quick. Just show love, kid. The antidote for being hopeless. Focus inward, let your inner voice be the guide you need. Try and breathe, cause you're the sun, moon, earth, and the stars to me. My clarity. I know you're in a rush to grow up quick, so show love, kid. The antidote for being hopeless. Focus inward, let your inner voice be the guide you need. Try and breathe, cause you're the sun, moon, earth, and the stars to me. I know it's hard that we don't see each other lots, but I believe it's quality time and it's all that we've got. So let's treat this like a game of ball, we'll give our best shot, cause I'ma be around forever whether you like it or not. I've been blessed just to know you. So smart, so cool, beating boys in track and field, your passion fills the whole room. Distractions help the healing process in the moment, but your self-reflection is your mind's key to inner focus. Go dethrone them. Show them what you're made to be. Maybe it's her. Maybe she's made for me. Maybe it's the constellation framing space and ways to see the make-believe and the maker's dreams and creation's themes. Pick apart the seams until your heart can bleed for artistry, regarding all the hardships as a badge of living honorably. Long as you're within this world, you'll always be my little girl. I know you're in a rush to grow up quick. Just show love, kid. The antidote for being hopeless. Focus inward, let your inner voice be the guide you need. Try and breathe, cause you're the sun, moon, earth, and the stars to me. My clarity. I know you're in a rush to grow up quick, so show love, kid. The antidote for being hopeless. Focus inward, let your inner voice be the guide you need. Try
I love you.
Cause you're the sun, moon, earth, and the stars to me.